17 of the 2016 replay in owner mode. A huge win over the Colts last week, and great news, we've got Crabtree back. So we've got our playmaker set, and the offense really kicked into gear. Carr was just on last week. You know, even though he threw for just 213 yards, he was extremely accurate. 50% conversion on third downs, kept the drives going. The running attack is still not where it needs to be, but we're confident at this point. The team is gelling, and we're looking good at this juncture. Now, big game with Denver. I haven't gone through and taken the time to go and look at all the tiebreakers, just because I think figuring out tiebreakers if you lose is just complete bullshit. Win in Denver, secure not only the division title, but should also secure home field advantage throughout the playoffs. This something the Oakland Raiders have not achieved since the 2002 season. So let's go through and check out any news that's going to be a huge issue around the league. Both the Denver defense and the Raiders defense are highly ranked, top 5 in the league. Atlanta just played their last home game in their stadium, and doesn't look like there's any issues in terms of big injuries. So that's solid. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at the standings, see how things are measuring up around the league. So in the AFC, you've got the Raiders who secured. The Raiders, Broncos have secured playoff appearances at least, and Patriots, Steelers, and Titans. Even though the Titans lost last week to the Jaguars, because the other teams in their division lost, they secured their division title. So now you have the Bills and the Dolphins who are fighting for that last playoff seed in the AFC. And I do believe the Bills do have the advantage. The Dolphins right now are a 5-game winning streak. So you do the math right there. They started the season 2-8 and came roaring back. So that'd be a great story if they can go through and sneak in. And the rest of the teams, so the Colts, Chargers, and Browns. Look at the Browns at 6-9. And even the Jags and Texans, all those teams, if they win, they have a shot. But of course, they would need the Bills and Dolphins to lose, and then hope that the tiebreakers fall into their spot. Let's see if the Ravens are still last in the league, and they've lost 6 straight. Even though they're on a 6-game losing streak, they have been in almost every single game. So what that means is they will get a great draft pick. If they do well, they can turn around and be back in the playoffs next season. NFC, the Packers clinched the playoff spot with the win last week. Falcons got the division title. You've got the Rams and the surprising Rams, 10-5. Who would ever guess that would happen? Seahawks are right there. So what's interesting, what I love about this replay is in the NFC, the last week of the season, 4 playoff spots are up for grabs. Eagles, Seahawks, Redskins, and even the Saints, Panthers, and Cowboys are still in the race. They, of course, need to win and hoping to get some help. So let's take a look to see what upcoming games we have this week. So you've got the Saints and the Falcons. So the Saints have got to upset the Falcons on the road to stay alive in the playoffs. That has no implications. The Redskins have to win and then hope for some help to sneak in. Same with the Texans. They've got to beat the Titans on the road to stay alive. Carolina Panthers, they have a legit shot, but it's never easy because it's a division foe playing on the road in Tampa Bay. Packers and Lions. The Packers have already clinched up a playoff spot, but they would love nothing more than to pound the Lions in Detroit. Jags and Colts, again, both teams are alive. The winner of this one has got to also get some help. And the Pats and the Dolphins. Patriots already have things wrapped up, and Miami has to have a win to get in. Bears and Vikings means nothing. Bills. This is great. Almost every team that has to win has to do so on the road. The Bills have to beat the Jets in New Jersey. Cowboys and Eagles. Both teams are alive for the playoffs. That's going to be a great fight. Browns and Steelers. Browns. Just looking at that, the Browns will need to win, which there's no way the Browns are going to beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh. But if so, they'll need some help. Cardinals and Rams. Even though the Cardinals are missing Carson Palmer due to injury, I don't see the Rams winning. And the Rams could absolutely finish the season 10-6 and not making the playoffs. Of course, this is the biggest game of them all between the Raiders and Denver. Huge, not only just huge playoff implications, but both teams absolutely hate each other. Chiefs and Chargers means nothing here. And the Seahawks, again, Seahawks have to win on the road. So if you know, every single team that has to win to get there is on the road. So this is what makes great football. Okay, so we've got that. Let's take a look at the stats as we enter the final season here. Due to injury, look at Derek Carr's stats. Just completely horrendous. Just barely over 2,000 yards for the season. 8 TDs, 11 picks. He just has struggled this year, unlike how he actually did in 2016, which he was just on. And this is paramount because Crabtree missed at least 3/4 of the season. That has a lot to do with it. Let's go and look at the actual NFL stats to see how things are looking. Rodgers, Brady, Breeze, Big Ben, Wilson, Smith is surprising up there. So, and Blake Bortles all have hit 4,000 yards passing. And take a look at the TDs. No big surprises there. All solid quarterbacks. And who leads the league in picks? Yeah, Phillip Rivers. So, yeah, no big surprises there. So let's take a look at the top running backs. Who's up there? This is a huge surprise with Riddick leading the league with just almost 1,300 yards. Bell, Stewart, Forte, Gordon, Gurley, Lacy, all very much expected to be in there. Look at Bell. Bell's healthy, 6.1 yards per carry. And let's take a look, see who's got the longest run. We've got Stewart, 96. Kenny Woodhead with a 96-yard run. That's awesome. Murray has a 92-yarder, but he did not score. That was against San Diego. They had to settle for a field goal and end up losing by 3. It was one of those runs where he absolutely could have just looked back, done a average stiff arm, and made it in the end zone, but it gets caught from behind. Receiving wise, I always hate that they do the sort by receptions. I could care less about receptions. I want yardage. Antonio Brown is just killing it, 17.7 yards per catch. Edelman, Cooks, yeah, all those are no surprises there. Let's look at top TDs. Brown and Beckham Jr. And you got Devontae Adams all with 11. Doug Baldwin, Seattle with 10. So that's all looking solid there. Longest receptions we have there. We have 92-yarder from Langford. Cool. So nothing too out of the ordinary, which is always good. What we want. Always poor stats on the offensive lineman. That's always a huge disappointment. So in terms of total tackles, let's look at total tackles for loss. 17. In terms of sacks, Graham at 20, Watt 18.5, Uh, Oddly, it's almost like they are funneling out the Raiders stats, which is kind of crazy. 8 picks for Chris Harris. So let's change it over the Raiders stats and take a look. Yeah, you see Alden Smith has 17, Kevin Mack has 12, and what's crazy is Mack missed 7 games. Missed 7 games of the season, almost half this season, and still has 12 sacks. And yeah, a great story with Adrian Hubbard. Signed him in the preseason. He's coming in with 8 sacks. The rookie Ward was 7.5. Bruce Irvin started the season as a monster and has really quieted down down the stretch. And I really expected more from Mario Edwards Jr. We moved him inside to defensive tackle. And if you look, just 12 solo tackles, 28 total, 7 tackles for loss, but only 2.5 sacks. Was really hoping for a lot more from him. On the interception side, Nelson with 5. Carey is out for the year on IR. So going into the final week, I was expecting a lot more playability from many of the guys on defense, and we just didn't see that. But what I wanted to see is how the defense would react if we had Alden Smith for the entire season, and then it shows completely dominant, which is awesome. Okay, so we're gonna come down and do some scouting, and this is an area which it's been struggling, just because it's been so difficult to find the key players that we need. And free safety is, I think, a huge point that we want to focus on. Nelson has been okay. It's just he's just been a little disappointing in terms of overall effectiveness. And finding someone late in the draft, I think, is going to be also pretty difficult. And I don't know if I want to get a guy from Idaho. I want big playmakers from solid schools. And strong safety, I know we got Carl Joseph, but yeah, call me aggressive, but I always think that we can take a guy who played strong safety in college and either move him as a nickel back or use him as a free safety. Texas, one of those things where, going to look at some guy who's undrafted, that's what you get, C+. It's a huge risk. On the corner, we do need another solid corner. Montana, Buffalo, zone. Okay, Colorado prototype 6'1", He's got good size. Colorado's a solid school. And yeah, this is look, I understand we have a piece of shit scout. And I know that has a lot to do with these bad numbers, and you can't always trust it when you have a awful scout. But NC State man-to-man. But you got to start somewhere. And we just have to have at least Florida State. Deion Sanders came out of there. I don't think it's going to be Miami. We took Patrick Buchanan years ago. He did all right. Else huge. Clemson, great school. Florida, 6'1", 189, a little bit undersized. Let's take a look at linebackers. Okay, this is a kid that we looked at last time. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so late 7th rounder. Yeah, this is why it's getting so frustrating, because we really need some solid linebackers. Eastern Michigan, Miami is a run stopper. Great school. That's okay. UCLA. Again, we're looking for solid schools. See if we can find anyone who is going to fit the bill. Okay, 12 points left. Clemson versus Georgia, 6'2", 243. I like a bigger guy, and that's not going to happen. Okay, so didn't really uncover anybody decent. Hopefully, once the combine results come out, we can find some gems. And the whole point is going into the draft. We can probably trade down quite a bit, stockpile some picks, because we do need to. We need a running back to replace Murray. We got to get another solid receiver because I completely fucked up and got rid of Seth Roberts. We need someone solid that we can rely on. All right, next up, we're going to go ahead and do the final game of the season and hopefully come out with a win against Denver in Mile High. It's been Darth Raider 77, and I'm out.